In February 2021, Sierra Leonean American writer Naminaforna published her debut novel, The Gilded Ones, which made the New York Times and indie list of best-selling books. The novel is a West African-inspired and empowering feminist fantasy that highlights a patriarchal society with a female protagonist. In 2022, Namina published a sequel entitled The Merciless Ones. VOA caught up with Naminaforna at the just concluded 10th Africa Conference on Sexual Health and Rights hosted in Freetown, Sierra Leone.
The first book is a very sort of like pinpointed and pointedly feminist work. It's about a girl who is told that she's a monster but like discovers otherwise. In each book I sort of look at like who suffers under this, and so with the first one it was girls and women. With this one it's men and people who don't fall into the binary, queer people, trans people, etc. So like it's more looking at toxic masculinity, homophobia.
Namina says her books are fun and adventurous, noting that she got her inspiration from growing up in Sierra Leone and the United States, where patriarchy was a challenge for many women. Her books try to explain what it means to live in a patriarchy and the systems that support it.
And what I found interesting is that people always talk about Africa, right? But like I grew up in Georgia and it was like the same thing, only like Americans are a little bit more polite about it. Well, not any longer, because now as you see with everything that's happening with abortion rights and such, they've like all the gloves have come off. But I really wanted to point out and say, hey, you know, we live in a patriarchal society. These are the things that we experience, whether you are in Sierra Leone, whether you're in the rest of Africa, whether you're in America, Europe, what have you.
Namina's book, The Gilded Ones, will be adapted into a film for Hollywood. Darkoa Sekyiamah is another feminist author of Ghanaian origin. She is an award-winning writer and co-founder of the blog Adventures from the Bedrooms of African Women. Nana is also the author of The Sex Lives of African Women. Her book chronicles her own sexual relationships and those of other African women around the world. She also attended the 10th Africa Conference on Sexual Health and Rights, where she spoke at a panel discussion of the Feminist Book Club.
And I remember my mom, you know, having to wait up for my dad when he would come back from work, and after work he would go and play squash and get home late around 10, you know, but she would keep his dinner warm. But before he came home, she'd be complaining that she had to do that. And I was always like, but if you don't want to do it, why are you doing it? So I remember saying to my dad at a really early age, when I get married, I'm not going to cook for my husband, because if I do, you would expect me to cook for him every day, you know? So I think all of that influenced me into becoming the person that I am today, the activist I am today. And if I wasn't a feminist activist, I definitely wouldn't be a writer.
Nana says that when she started writing about sex, including the rights of women and the LGBTQI community, she had many reactions from relatives who had issues about the topics, but now receives praise from her parents.
And so the public recognition has changed a lot of things for them, right? Because I think like a lot of African parents, they like for their kids to be recognized and praised. I think parents are concerned for us, right? Especially when you write publicly about sexuality, because they know that it's generally not safe to do so. I think that's their biggest concern.
The two feminist writers continue to make waves on global platforms. Eric Kawa reporting for VOA Africa in Freetown.